Hello, everyone. Welcome, and it's Friday again. Yet another live session, yet another important aspect of our life which is going to be discussed today. I am happy and privileged to be in nature today for this live session. So, I'm in this beautiful city of India, which is known as the Scotland of India, which is Kurg. And from here, taking all of you live from this beautiful place. And today, going to be speaking about a very, very important subject of our life, which is, I think, connected with most of us, which is strengthening bonds. And strengthening bonds, it's not about just mental well-being, but the mental well-being starts at home. And who's the expert that we have? We have Girish Panicker, who is a family coach, who is a very good parental guide. And of course, there is a lot more details and a lot more that you know about him already, because he's been on our podcast since a while now. We've done a couple of live sessions with him. So I would just welcome him, and you guys can start asking your questions so that we can have something which is very important, which is our mental well-being that starts from home. Because if we are perfectly happy amongst our family members, we can be happy everywhere around that we go. So let me just take Girish on line, and you can start putting out your questions so that we can give you the answers that you're really looking out for. Just a minute, let me just add him.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Perfect. Am I audible to you?
Yes. Perfect and clear.
Perfect. So, Girish, before we before our other questions start coming in, if you could just give a quick introduction to yourself. Probably I was not able to do justice. So, if you can give a quick, explanation to people that, of course, when it comes to family, how predominant you are catering to families closely. But if you could just give a quick introduction to yourself.
I'm Girish Panicker, a parenting coach. How I got interested in parenting is I was a corporate trainer, and I understood that when we were training the corporate managers to, manage a lot of people,
Mm.
we found out that once they go back home, they are not able to take care of their small 4-year-old daughter or a 3-year-old son. And
Mm.
I thought I should get equipped in parenting, parenting coaching. A lot about psychology, emotional intelligence, and today I help a lot of parents in bringing up their children in the right manner. I
Right.
also coach students, and I'm counseling for students as well.
Perfect. So, Girish, when we say mental well-being starts at home, which is our topic for today, what does that truly mean? And from a behavioral and an emotional perspective.
Uh, most of the simple problems that we see today, like anxiety, depression, tension,
Mm.
right, which is applicable both to children and parents, can actually be sorted out at home. You need not go to most of them. I'm saying most of them, unless it is a serious problem, you need not go to a counselor or a psychiatrist.
Right.
It can be maintained at home itself if we have the normal life which parents and children used to have in the earlier days. Right? It was after there was fun, there was talk, there were fights. All that is missing. So the children find it difficult to go and speak to somebody. And if you not going and speaking to the parents and opening up to parents, then we have a problem. Then we have.
Right. Right. So, when we're saying that mental well-being begins at home, we are looking at your own sanctuary to be very, very close knit, where you can just be happy in your own space.
Absolutely. And children should feel free to express whatever they are experiencing or whatever they feel without the fear of being judged by the parents. That's the first step. Once
Perfect.
that is happening, you will find that children will start naturally becoming who they should become. Otherwise, they're really creating an image of themselves
Right.
whom the parents want them to be or whom society wants them to be. So they will be putting mask, hide
Hmm.
their innocence, not
Hmm.
speak, and that's when we have a problem.
Perfect. Okay, so Girish, we have a question from somebody who says, I'm a really an anxious person, so wanted to know that in regard to being anxious, does that really imbalance me as a family member as well?
No, see, when you say that I am anxious, it is either I am worried about something that might happen in future, right?
Hmm.
Something
Hmm.
that I might not be expecting it to happen, and that's what
Hmm.
causes anxiety, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's very, very important that learn to live in the present. We need
Hmm.
to know that all the thoughts that come to our mind, all
Hmm.
the feelings that we are experiencing are
Hmm.
all fleeting phases of life. And
Hmm.
don't be caught up in the thoughts and feelings, because that is what brings up anxiety.
Correct. Correct. Perfect. Perfect. Let me just pick another question that somebody asked, that he wanted to know that what are the early signs that mental well-being might be strained within a home environment?
Within the home environment. When family members are not talking to each other, right? When you find that the children are distancing themselves from parents, hiding from parents, sitting
Hmm.
alone, well, then
Hmm.
you know that there is something that is not right at home.
Right.
That's the first sign. That's the first sign.
Hmm. Hmm. So when we're saying, mental well-being begins at home, and you especially talking about young children as well, and you've been, counseling a lot of young parents, children as well. So how do you really think their mental status affects the younger minds as well? I'm sure it does affect them immensely. But what are the kind of changes a person can see in their own child while they're growing up, if there is a scenario in the house which is not very favorable?
So the first thing the parents should understand is there are no expectations from the children. Right?
Hmm.
The moment I
Hmm.
start having expectations from children, then
Hmm.
is where I start treating them differently. If they don't start meeting my expectations, then I start imposing certain things on them, and this is
Hmm.
going to have a lot of impact on the children, even small children for that matter. Right?
Right.
Accepting them for who they are rather than what they do is what
Hmm.
the parents need to do. Right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you always find that now, if the children start behaving in a manner which is liking to me, then I
Hmm.
am good with them. If they
Right.
behave in a manner which is not conducive to me, then I
Right.
start not treating them differently. And then
Hmm.
they think, is there a problem with me? Because my parents are not liking me, not loving me, not
Hmm.
treating me in a manner which is supposed to be right.
Correct. Correct. Okay, let me just hop on to another question, because I think my questions will not stop. I will hop on to another question from somebody. Okay, so the question is, I would like to address to both of you actually. According to you guys, how do small everyday interactions like dinner conversations or morning routines impact long-term emotional health?
There's an important thing which is missing in most of the families.
Hmm.
What I suggest is every family should have some time wherein all the family members are sitting together with no agenda. No,
Right.
this is very clear. No agenda.
Right.
Just talk with no expectation at all.
Right.
It is better to have that dinner time with no gadgets, wherein the parents and children sit together. Parents just tell whatever happened in their lives, and children are also allowed to express, because when the parents start speaking up without expectation, you will find that the child knows that yes, this is a place where even I can express without any expectation. And
Right.
that is where the child will start to speak without hiding from the parents.
Hmm.
Right? So this is extremely important, and note down this, underline this, it should be without any agenda. Have
Right.
spend time with your children with no agenda. No agenda.
Right.
Just be with them.
So, Girish, is this actually happening? Are people actually taking off their screen time or off the phones or anything while and just having no agenda to spend? Um, and I think there should be no agenda when you're spending that quality time. But do you really think, is that really happening around? Because we have been speaking to each other for, I think, good in year and a half now. And I believe that we've, spoken about a lot about it, even in our live sessions or podcast sessions. And we're just hoping that there is an impact on people, that they're able to spend some quality time at home without the gadgets. But people around you, I just want to know that, is there that kind of an impact that you're really seeing on people, that they really want to get away from the stress factors that they have in life and just spend that time at home?
See, the biggest challenge or the biggest thought in the mind of parents is, unless I direct my children to do something, they will not do. Unless I
Right.
question them, they will not fall in place. So every conversation between the parent and the child is, what did you do? What did you learn? Or why did you do this? Or this is good for you. So it's always telling them what to do or questioning what they do. So this is with an agenda, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
this is slowly changing when people are coming in contact with us and they are
Mm.
finding the children are not listening to them, or children are moving away from them. When we ask them
Mm.
to have this no agenda times, it is
Mm.
working like magic. Because children are not looking for solution, they are not
Right.
looking for directions, they are looking
Right.
for somebody where they can just express themselves or just be there sometimes without being asked to do or without questioning what they are supposed to do. And this
Absolutely.
works like magic. This works like magic.
I'm sure it does, because I think having no agenda, just spending that quality time is, I think, sufficient enough for the kids also while they're growing up.
Right.
Perfect. Okay, so another question that is coming, Girish, is, are there any fun ideas that parents can provide to improve cognitive growth of children?
Are there any?
Are there any fun ideas that parents can do to improve cognitive growth of their children?
See, you can have these small things, no, like play chess with the children, right?
Mm.
Do
Mm.
puzzles with the children. You have Sudoku, you have so many puzzles, you have numerical puzzles. Be
Mm.
a part of their activity along with them, right?
Mm.
Small
Mm.
things. And let me tell you, don't be worried about improving their cognitive ability because they all have the ability. Only thing
Right.
is we're forcing them to do something. So it's
Correct.
good to have these small things. No, play a Rubik's Cube, try to solve a Rubik's Cube along with them, play chess along with them, play Jenga along with them, do
Mm.
puzzles along with them, right? And it
Mm.
should be fun. It should be fun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
With a group of people, you also participate in it. That's important. I
Mm.
don't tell them, see, this is good for you. You solve a puzzle, this is good for you, and you stay away. It doesn't. It
Right.
doesn't. And it sometimes you do the puzzle, you do the things, and
Right.
sometimes give them a chance to actually be better than you also sometimes, right? So that they feel that yes, I am also going on the right. So it should be fun. You can play all these things, but be a participant in it. That's important. Be a participant.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, Girish, now we have somebody who's a parent itself. So that person says, I have a 13-year-old and believe he's going through a lot of changes mentally and physically.
Right.
So he wanted to know and understand from you that can strengthening bonds at home really act as a protective factor?
Absolutely. See, this is the stage where the child is undergoing a lot of hormonal changes, right? He or she is trying to find an identity of themselves. They are moving
Right.
from the childhood to the adulthood, neither a child nor the adult. And this is a stage where they are confused to the maximum, right?
Right.
And
Right.
in many families, this is also the time where the parents are trying to build up their career and their assets, right?
Hmm.
So the time that they will be able to spend time with the teenagers is becoming less. And because of their attitude, we try to be a little arrogant or strict with them. This is
Absolutely.
not the time for them. This is a time wherein we should
Right.
understand that they are also undergoing a lot of trouble. Be very,
Right.
very close to them. Allow them to express. You should be very, very friendly with them at this point in time, not be very aggressive. And just the
Right.
opposite happens.
Right.
Right? The child
Right.
was a good listener. He was good. He was listening to me, and he's become a teenager. He started rebelling, and I become even more aggressive on him. That doesn't work. Don't be a friend to your child, but be very friendly to your child at this time. Take him
Correct.
as a co participant in the journey of your life.
Correct. Correct. Girish, I remember when we had the last session, there was somebody who actually approached me from the app itself. That person said that your talk is generation. Not talking about the generation that we belong to, and it's very different today. You cannot handle the teenagers today. You cannot handle them the way our parents handled us, etc., etc. So I think I would want to ask you, as an expert of a lot of people actually come up with questions later and they say that, you are talking about things which probably our generation implemented. They were more of a listener, they were more adapting to the parents. But today, when you talk about teens, a lot of parents have come up and said, we cannot handle it. How much ever time we spend, we're not able to handle the teens. They are going in their own direction. They have their own research patterns. They have their own ways to express. So how do we tackle it? So I think I would like to address from all those parents to you as a parent coach, that how would you really address to somebody who comes up and says that generation was different and probably more adaptive and today's generation is not.
Right. See, the changes which have happened in the last, I think, 15 years would not have happened in the last 100 years, right? The changes are very fast.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we should always understand that every generation which is coming to
Right.
be adaptable to that particular generation, right?
Absolutely.
So the
Right.
changes are happening in children because they are supposed to live in that kind of an environment. The challenge for
Correct.
parents is,
Correct.
am I willing to go down to them and see whether no, we are able to go to their level? Now, I'm talking from this level. I'm talking from a
Right.
40 or a 50-year-old person who lived in a different generation. I'm expecting
Right.
them to behave in the same. It's not to that. I
Correct.
need to go back to their level, and even we need to go and check and see what were the turmoils that we underwent when we were children. The same turmoils we are, right? Only
Absolutely.
the technological changes and the advancements have been different, but we have the same problems, and we also have the same thing. Why is my parent not willing to understand me? So, am I
Correct.
willing to go back to the level of the child? Is the question. Are parents willing to go to the level of the child and understand what they are undergoing? That's the
Right.
only solution available. Right?
Right.
And once we do it, life becomes so beautiful. No, because I always say, no, 4 people at home, that should be the best place on earth.
Right. Right.
And
That
that
should be
can
the
happen.
safest space that you are in.
Yes. And we cannot expect children to understand us. They are only growing. They are only 13 or 14
Absolutely.
years old. We have
Absolutely.
crossed that. So it's our
Absolutely.
responsibility to understand them. That's it. That's
Absolutely. That's what I actually told most of them, that ask your parents. I'm sure they went through their own struggles and probably they felt the same way that you're feeling today, that their generation was better or their understanding levels was better. So probably every generation also, as you said, you need to have that kind of connection to understand them better.
right.
Perfect. Just pick up a question that's been asked. Okay. So there's somebody who asked that, as you as a parent coach, what advice would you give parents who want to create a mentally healthy and emotionally safe environments for their kids?
Right. See, first thing is advices don't work. Okay.
Right. Right.
Advices don't work. So I will not be giving an advice. What I'll say is, when children are coming through us, no, or
Mm,
they are coming through us, and it is
mm,
our responsibility to see that we provide a safe environment for their growth. As
mm.
simple as that. Now the problem with most of us is, I am expecting them to become someone who I want them to become, and that's where all the problems start, right? There
Right.
is a blueprint already ready in the child, and
Absolutely.
it is ready
Absolutely.
to blow. And we, just like a farmer, no, is to provide the right sunlight, right, no, right manure, right water,
Right.
and the child will grow. Don't have any
Correct.
expectations. So when the child was 1 or 2 or 3 years old, we all loved that environment at home, no? We looked at the laughter of the child, we enjoyed every moment. Why has it changed? Why has it
Correct.
changed? Because that time we had no expectation. Now we have an expectation, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
every child will grow to their full potential if we provide the right environment. And our only responsibility is to provide the right environment, make them responsible for every of their actions. Don't take responsibility. Parents are
Correct.
taking responsibility and creating help for them and their children. Right?
Absolutely.
I
True.
repeat
Very
again,
true.
we cannot be responsible for anybody else's life, including our spouse and children. Right? But we
Absolutely.
should make them capable of being responsible of whatever they are able to do. That's it. That's it.
Perfect. Perfect. I think that's the golden rule of life. Be responsible for
Absolutely.
yourself, but yet again, give some kind of teachings, but let the other person take responsibility of
Yes.
themselves. That's like a
Yes.
golden rule everybody should follow.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay, let me just pick up another question. Okay. Okay, wow. This question is addressed to me, saying gas application. I must say, therefore, I have a small question for you. How can we balance technology use at home so that it supports connection rather than creating emotional distance? Asking this because a lot of times I have heard about your young child and how you balance it, so would like to know more. Perfect. Getting away from technology, so the person who's addressed this is impossible in today's time, in today's generation. Getting away from technology is something that we really can't do. But for me, I create that there is a space where the child will be, kind of heading towards technology, whether phone, whether television, any sort of, distraction. Try space as well. The way we need our own space, probably even they need it. So I honestly do keep that half an hour to 1 hour maximum of space, because as I said, you cannot avoid it, and it's better not to just scare your child and saying do not do that, because they will end up doing it more. So it's better that help or curate certain content which you think will be probably beneficial, and give that in store for that time that you're giving on the digital space, and probably that will help. So hope that really helps across. But yes, getting away from digital or getting away from technology is not the answer, because today most of us, being in everyday life, to be honest, of the people that I see around also, when they are working as parents, or when they're working as even elders, when they are staying with their grandparents, everybody will have a certain amount of work. They will end up watching television or on screen. So just allow them and just let them be. But yes, of course, dominancy of that should not be there. And from an expert point of view, Girish, I would like to know from you whether I am headed in the right direction or not, because I
Absolutely,
give that.
absolutely. Yes. Today, technology cannot be avoided, but
We
yes,
cannot avoid
yes,
it.
yes. Only see that now they are using it in the right time and using the
Right.
right things till they grow. Once they go beyond 18, they will be no. If all these things are done right, then they will know what is right and what is wrong. But
Right.
there are challenges where many places, in order to get rid of the irritation of the child, parents hand over the mobile to the child, and that's where the problem starts.
Correct.
And then it
Correct.
becomes a habit because we wanted to have a little bit of mental peace. Okay, you do whatever you want, you go with your mobile,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah. Yeah.
we took it as a chance, and then it becomes a
It becomes a habit. Correct. Perfect. Perfect. So luckily, then I'm headed in the right direction. So that's what's for the audience as well. Okay, let me pick up the another question. Okay, so this person says that there is a mental health month that I am seeing across on social media profiles. So just wanted to understand of what, according to both of you, nurturing a relationship means, and how is it directly related to a good mental state, and what kind of things are in the app which could help in channelizing that. I think you could address the first part, I could address the second part.
see. Human beings are social animals, right? We are in relationship with a lot of people, right? At home,
Hmm.
it's your spouse and children, parents, in-laws, and in your office, it is your workspace, right?
Right.
And
Right.
what emotional state I am in when I connect with the other person is extremely important. If I
Correct.
am agitated most of the time, and if my
Hmm.
relationship with every of the other person is not right, then I'm in trouble. And
Hmm.
why this mental health month? I say that it should be throughout the year because it should not be a one particular month. Today, the problem is I am dependent on somebody else for my mental stability, which is wrong. I
Correct.
want somebody else to behave properly so that I don't get agitated or I am not emotional. It is not going to work, right?
Hmm.
Somebody outside you, any event outside you cannot disturb you. And the
Right.
moment you expect that, you expect behavior of many people to be in a particular way, so that I am able to control myself. It's not going to happen. So that
Hmm.
is where now we need to be mindful, we need to be conscious, we need to do a lot of meditation. I think in the app there are a lot of things which
Right.
will be able to tell them what to do. Because unless I am in control of my thoughts and my feelings, you can never be at peace with anybody else. Right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. So I
so
so agree with you, Girish.
yes.
And I would implement the same thing for the second part of your question, that we try to address, what Girish rightly said. So there are mindful exercises to just let yourself out. There is a section which is known as My Diary, which just lets your thoughts be there. And when you can after a month or 2 months, just kind of get back to the kind of good things that you've done in your life. Because at the end of the day, I think we're very, very pessimistic for ourselves. And at the end of the day, when you just I cannot do it, or this is something that I cannot achieve. Once those feelings kind of come inside people, you start forgetting or start acting on the good things that are around you, or start accepting that there are few good traits that you also have. So we try to address all of that in the app, where somebody who comes to the My Diary section also is able to write what is the good deed in a day that they did, what are the kind of achievements that a person made, so that at the end of the day you feel positive for not just yourself but for the things that you're doing at the end of it. Then obviously there are meditation, there are yoga exercises which helps you calm down. And one thing which is helping a lot of people when it comes to their mental health is music. So music has always been known as a therapy for calming. So we tried to curate a lot of wellness based music. Along with that, create your own music. So whatever beats you like, whatever, whether you like nature, whether you like river or whatever, you can curate your own music. So that just helps you calm down and listen to it when you would want to, whether that's study, whether it's work. So these different tools basically just helps you, but at the end of the day, it's all in the mind. And whatever we do mindfully, it is going to make a difference, I feel. And I think with experts like you, and a lot more, Girish, we are so blessed that a lot of content which people are consuming today is nothing which is curated just by one person, just thought overnight, but it's been guided with the expert journeys. So it's easier for people to take those mindful, holistic wellness journey only for the fact that it's been curated with a lot of effort from, experts, where their journey is really important and the smallest of aspects have been taken care of. So believing in themselves and doing a couple of, rightful exercises and regime is a game changer for most of the people that we're connected with. So we hope that we've answered your question. So let me just take another question, Girish. Okay, then somebody is asking you, can you share 3 small daily practices that families can implement to strengthen their bonds and mental health together?
See, one simple thing is have a
Hmm.
dinner time together, okay,
Yeah.
with no agenda. Number one,
Yeah.
start
Right.
practicing the attitude of gratitude every night before sleeping. Write
Hmm.
5 things which you're grateful for. Start with five,
Absolutely.
you will get more than 100, right?
Hmm.
Because the
Right.
problem is I'm always worried about that one thing which I don't have, and I'm
Huh.
forgetting the all the great things that I have, right?
Correct.
Attitude of
Correct.
gratitude. And then every day morning when you get up, be happy that you are alive and kicking, because many people pass off in their sleep itself, right?
Absolutely.
So only 3 things. Every day morning when you get up, spend 5 minutes with yourself and be happy that you are glad to take the journey forward. These are 3 small things you need to do, and life will change,
Perfect. Perfect.
right?
I mean, I really love that dinner table thing, because I think that's the most of the time that you really spend that time, because we're hushing and rushing the entire day. So dinner table needs to be easy, and dinner table needs to be that no agenda kind of a setup for a family, where you're off your phones, where you're just having your meal peacefully and just spending quality time with each other. Because I think the routine that most of us have is like a Monday to Friday, and what you end up doing is just probably a Sunday having a brunch together or a dinner together. But I think if we make that as a daily practice, it's something which is increasing the family bonding time more, even for the younger children.
Right.
Okay. So Girish, because of the shortage of time, I will just pick up one question so that we're able
Okay.
to address that. And whoever that I miss out, please, you can share in your question, comment, or personally, and I think we can get back to them.
Sure.
So let me just pick up this question. Okay, so this person says that I am a psychology student and would want to know, how can parents or partners repair emotional disconnects or misunderstandings when they happen without long term represent building up.
Okay.
That's heavy. Okay.
Whenever I have a disconnect with anybody, right, I realize it at some point in time, correct? That I'm having a disconnect or there is an emotional breakdown at some point in time. The moment I realize it, go to that person and say, whatever I have done or whatever I've done, I'm extremely sorry for whatever has happened, right? Because you understood there is a problem, correct?
Right.
Now, you will also find for some people, they like to carry the disconnect for years together. Brothers
Hmm.
don't talk to each other. Parents don't
Right.
talk to children for one disconnect. But one
Right.
approach to them and say, no, if I then openly take that and say, whatever has happened between us, right, I'm feeling really bad about it, right? I'm feeling really bad about it, and I'm not feeling. If it is come from my side, very sorry for it. Let's Once you are able to say sorry to somebody, let me tell
Absolutely.
you, the other person is willing to mend it. And even if he has done something wrong, he would be willing to say. Because everybody is right from their point of view. Understand this very, very clearly.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Nobody is going on earth to say, let me create a problem for somebody tomorrow. No, no. He
Absolutely.
feels what he is doing is right. Maybe it is not right from the other person's perspective, right?
Mm.
And
Mm.
relationships only break because I stick to my point and say, I believe what I'm saying is right and I stick to it.
Right.
It need
Correct.
not be like that. It need not be like that. Just open it and say, I'm feeling bad. And if I've done something wrong, I'm extremely sorry. That's it. That's it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think couple of things that I take away from you: gratitude, just being thankful, and just understanding that it was your mistake, and just saying sorry wherever you think it's required to have a family bonding which nobody can break at the end of the day is
That's it.
important. And I think as soon as anyone in the family starts getting a thin line of ego, the family really shakes away. That's what I
Yes.
believe. I mean, just
Yes.
even
Yes.
if a simple
Yes.
sorry or a simple thank you can do wonders, that's what your children will be taught as well. So
Absolutely.
try and incorporate that as well. And with so I'll just pick up one of the questions that says that how would Beyond Lifestyle help the families and individuals. We're trying to do the same thing. We're trying to curate a safe space where the families or individuals can either, if they're looking out an expert advice, they can obviously reach out for like the talk to me session, or else there's enough of content available for them to understand that where are they standing emotionally. There are psychometric tests that have been involved into it. There are the my diary section, there's a gratitude journal, and all of that, which helps them evaluate that where am I today in this position and how I can improve. Because at the end of the day, we're humans. We are looking at things where probably we need a little advice, we need a little push. So that is what the app will help us do. It's not something that we're trying to help people in the medical fraternity. We're just trying to help people with the little lifestyle tweaks which just helps them nurture. So thank you so much, Girish. It is always insightful to have a conversation with you. And being a parent, I think most of the parents will connect with me that everybody faces a problem sometime or the other in life. And I think your job is the most difficult one, because to advise a parent is much more difficult because every child is different at the end of the day.
Yes.
So
Yes.
every
Yes.
problem will be different, and everybody will feel that we are the only ones who are suffering. But to
Absolutely.
cater that individually, kudos to you for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was very nice talking to so many people. And I hope we were able to answer some of the questions. And
I hope so. We're able to add some value to a lot of people who are online at the moment. And anybody whose questions have left in, I have left in a few. So anybody who would want to ask can get in touch, and we are happy to help. Thank you so much, Girish.
thank you. All the best. Life
Thank
is
you.
beautiful. Don't let small egos break up. As simple as that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend. It was lovely
Thank you.
talking to
Bye. 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 Bye.
you. Bye bye. Thank you.